And welcome to Flightdeck Live, powered by SportBuff. If you go to sportbuffshop.com and use the code ALSFlightdeck10 at checkout, you will save 10% off your first order. I'm Tim Capper, along with Cliffy D. Pine. Welcome to the Postgame show. Owls at the Tiger Cats to open up the 2026 CFL season. Hashtag CFL kickoff. Alouettes pull it out, a 30-27 win in overtime. And man, the score itself, Cliff, is more. There's a lot more to talk about than just the score itself. But what a comeback!
I mean, there are so many layers here. I mean, we're folks. If you've tuned in, first and foremost, thank you, and strap in because we got a lot to go through. We got a lot to break down. There are a lot of layers to this particular onion, and oh my goodness gracious, what a way to kick off the CFL season, and not just the Montreal Alouettes season, but the CFL season. I mean, imagine fans tuning in for the first time and they watch this entire game. I guarantee they're like, "Oh damn, this is what I've been missing out on. This is what everybody's talking about. I'm in. I need more. I got to see more." So, apologies in advance to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, the Calgary Stampeders, the Edmonton Elks, and the Ottawa Red Blacks. Try and top that. Bonne chance.
Just like On Call Com just commented, make sure you do the same. We are live. We want to hear what you guys think about the game. We do have some injuries to talk about. That's a huge part of the game of itself also. But please chime in. Best ways to chime in, honestly, from what we've been seeing, is through either YouTube or Facebook. We want to see what you guys have to say about this game itself. Davis Alexander, Cliff, with the win, and he's already made the comment. He's already said he feels that he is not, his streak is over because he lost the big game in the Grey Cup last year. But he is now 12-0 to start the regular season in his career. Still the best start ever in CFL history for a quarterback. But it just wasn't as easy as being 1-0 for the game itself today, because anything and everything that could happen in this game happened. I mean, with the Owls being able to come back from a 10-0 deficit and also to come back from 14 down in the second half, where it seemed that Hamilton was about to really take hold of this game. All I can say is, first, let's just talk about the team in general. Obviously, there's a lot to talk about, but let's talk about just the win in itself.
Absolutely incredible. I mean, cinema. There's no other way to describe it. Could you imagine if we had this game for the Eastern Final last year, which was also held at Hamilton Stadium, which also ended by a Jose Matos Diaz field goal for the win? I mean, holy moly. I mean, what? Wow. Just wow. I mean, Again, it was not perfect. It was not all sunshine and roses, folks. Despite what the final score says, believe me, Montreal had to work their ass off for this. They had to earn every single point. And believe me, Hamilton was not going to roll over and die. In fact, again, you want a stat, folks? I know Tim's the stats guy, but let me drop a stat on you. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Steve Daniel or anyone else in the stats universe, I believe this is the first time in Montreal Alouettes history, possibly even the Canadian Football League history, where a team has won a game despite not leading throughout the first 60 minutes.
It's possible.
Think about that.
I can't think for the Alouettes. Other teams in the CFL. I will have to get Steve Daniel on the horn, and we will find out, and we'll let you guys know on the show on Wednesday. That we'll do. And put it on social media. Put it on socials also.
Absolutely. I definitely. Well, what did we witness? Let me tell you what we just witnessed. We witnessed one hell of a football game. Oh, and guess what? There's a lot more where that's coming from. Let me tell you, folks, because my goodness. And as I was starting to say, it was not all sunshine and roses. Believe me, this Alouettes team at times looked lost. They looked like they were stepping on their own toes more than anything else. And it was just stupidity more than anything else. I mean, penalties. They were just complete lack of discipline in that first half. Just, miscues. I mean, it was just, one could even make the argument that he didn't deserve the win. But as they say, winners do find a way to win. And that's what it was. It was simply just a matter of once they got it figured out, that was it. They did just enough to get the win. And let's face it, there's no style points in the Canadian Football League. An ugly win counts just as much as a pretty win. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you get the dub. Just to get to overtime, I think was a tremendous effort. Wow. Just absolute wow.
And that's funny. It's like you and Brandon are thinking, as you were saying it, he typed it. So, I mean, the exact same thing. Brandon goes, I get the frustration and concern. Despite the penalties and arm tackles, they still win the game. This is actually the mark of a great team. 1-0. Okay, 1-0, I'll get that. But it's almost like it was a tale of two halves. Despite how well Davis Alexander was doing. Davis Alexander, Cliff, for the game, was the 26 of 38 for 336 yards, his fifth 300-yard game in his career, and 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. In the first half alone, he had 199 yards. But the problem is in that first half, the Alouettes had 10 penalties for 113 yards. 113 yards. And that included an obvious DPI, which led to actually most of the penalties in that first half led to Hamilton touchdowns. It really did.
Let's talk about that obvious. Hold on. Let's talk about that obvious DPI. Did you think that ball was catchable? Did you think Kenny Lawler could have caught that? I think it was just out of range. I think, and you know what? Again,
Burns
I'm not
looking behind him. I'm not. Burns wasn't looking behind him.
Exactly. That again, and that's why I didn't oppose the penalty. But at the same time, it almost looked like Lawler gave up on his route, and it's like, F it, just let the DB run into me, and I'm going to get a penalty. And I think it kind of looked that way. That's the thing. Again, absolutely, Lorenzo Burns at this point should know better. And okay, it happens. Again, one can even make the argument that the first regular season game is essentially a third preseason game. You're still working out the kinks. You're still working out, reestablishing yourself on the field. Yeah. Not the greatest penalty to take. There's no question about that. But at the same time, I don't think that ball was all that catchable. I mean, again, is it a ticky-tack call? Was it the right call? I mean, on surface, yes. It was the right
call.
I guess in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter. But at the same time, like, one could make the argument for this. And again, that's why Scott Malone made the challenge, because he thought, Burns didn't look back, and that automatically will draw the flag more often than not. But lo and behold, it was definitely pass interference, and it did lead to a Hamilton touchdown. So again, just one of many instances in this game where Montreal simply has to be better. They hopefully, Jason Moss talks about this. You win or you learn. Well, I think in this instance, you're going to win and you're going to learn, because again, you can't keep making mistakes like that. I mean, I don't care if it's preseason. I don't care if it's the first game of the year. Again, Lorenzo Burns, a very talented football player, but mistakes like that are just ones that you simply cannot make and expect to get away with. He doesn't have that kind of clout that he can get away with a boo-boo like that, if you want to call it that.
Boo. Danny brings up a good point, and I was saying this to you in our game time chat. I actually would love to know what was said at halftime, because in the second half, 2 penalties total, one by the Owls early for 8 yards, and we talked about penalties that led to points. 1 15-yard face mask on the Hamilton Tiger Cats, which led to Alouettes points. So they made the correction.
Did, yes. Well, that's it. And that's what it comes down to. And that's, again, we talk about too, like, the Alouettes historically have been a very good team in the second half as far as making adjustments go. Like, it's almost like it's almost like in boxing, like rope-a-dope. Like you absorb the body blows, and you try to get the strategy down of your opponent, and then you use it against them. And I think that's exactly what Montreal did. They smartened up. They figured it out. It wasn't pretty at times, but finally this defense, which was looking a little sus in the first half, they got it together. And we got to talk about this. Robert,
well, let's talk about the first half. Yeah, let's talk about the first half itself, because
all right.
Despite how well, again, that the Alouettes did, they were down by 7. And as it seemed to be the case, really, in the first preseason game, we're thinking we're leading, chalking up the preseason. But even as Manoa said, also this game, and you said on social too, Cliff, is that it's like a third preseason game, and the tackles were just missed tackles, one arm tackles, being out of place. It just, and then the penalties obviously didn't help, but something was done in that second half. Obviously the big thing was DA, QB1, QB fun, and his chemistry with, his his roommate, Tyler Snead. Snead himself, Cliff, 13 targets, 9 receptions, 163 yards, and a touchdown. Got to get those accolades right away. He had 133 yards at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
And, one of them was a 70-yard bomb where the Alouettes, I think it was 2nd and 15,
23.
if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, backed up. A 70-yard play that got the Owls more points.
Mm-hmm.
And then the touchdown by Snead. So, and
that touchdown was a thing of beauty. Talk about you talk about threading the needle. That's exactly what DA did with Tyler Snead. And oh my, and he threw it. It looked like he threw it in a phone booth practically. Just a very small window to get it in, and he just aced it. Oh my goodness! And
it was on a rope.
How about the and Tyler Snead? How about the little deuces at the end of the touchdown? Just mwah. Talk about the ultimate. That. Well done, Tyler. That was perfect. That was absolutely perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Brandon, throws don't come better than that. 100 than that one. 100 out of 100. Now, we can't really talk about the first half, Cliff, before what happened in the second, to talk about the potentially major injuries that occurred in that first half, because already the Alouettes were kind of light when it came to running back, because Stevie Scott was placed on the one game this week, supposedly with a hamstring injury. With a hamstring injury, as was reported by the team. Tice goes out. We don't know with what, but also, was it a hammy? Are you guessing?
No, I'm saying it's probably just. Okay. It just seems to be the way right now with the Alouettes is, if there's an injury, hamstring. Just it has to be. Well, what else could it possibly be, right?
Yeah. Now
I could lose a limb, hamstring.
Yeah, unlike Tice, Justin Lawrence and Cole Speaker seemed to both go out when they were rolled up on.
Yeah.
Now, couldn't tell most of it, how serious it was with Justin Lawrence, but with Cole Speaker, you could tell. You saw that he was rolled up after his only catch, 22-yard catch in that first half.
Mm-hmm.
Still, the guy stepped up in the second, but still, Alouettes fans, I'm sure, have PTSD for what we've had before in the past when it comes to game one injuries. One of them to a particular running back. Do you know what I mean? And
I'll go back even further. QB1 and QB2 both going down to injury.
Yep.
In the opening game.
Yeah.
Not fun. Not fun.
So obviously, we did get an update from the team at halftime. They weren't coming back. DJ at RDS did report that even though Speaker was taken in on the cart, he came back out of the sidelines 10 minutes later, or tweet 10 minutes via tweet time.
Yeah.
Don't know about the other two. We didn't really hear anything about Tice. Now, again, week one, we're short already. We'll have to see what happens, because it's not a short week, luckily. Owls play again on Friday versus the Argonauts at home. It's never fun to see these go down. And the worst one did seem to be for Speaker. But again, the guys stepped up. Again, it was such a debacle of a first half. It's funny to say that we're only down by 7 at halftime, but it was a bad first half, really, just in general, despite what DA was doing, et cetera, and his connections with the wide receivers.
Yeah,
but
I
again,
think with the exception, yeah, with the exception of DA and Sneed. I mean, I think those were the only highlights, the only notable highlights for in the first half. Other than that, yeah, it was tough, and you can see the doom and gloom already on Twitter land from Alouettes Nation. It's just like as always. I mean, if nothing else, they are reliable in that regards of, this team is terrible and blah 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 blah. But then as soon as things turn around, it's all sunshine and roses. So God bless you, Alouettes Nation, because boy, I don't know.
So changes were made at halftime. The Owls came out, and it didn't start off well. Last year, as it has been, the Owls really have had issues coming out of halftime, getting the ball first, and getting any type of scoring. Both first possessions this year or this game, they punted, and Hamilton went up 14. Literally just like that. They went up 14, and it did look, sure, there was more than, 20 minutes left in the game itself. But, we had to see some improvement. So
something had to happen. There needed to be a spark of some sort. I mean, something had to give essentially. And as luck would have it in the third quarter, something did give. The Alouettes caught a major break. Bo Levi Mitchell, who looked stellar. I'm not going to lie. He definitely looked on point in that first half. He definitely looked, he looked like Bo Levi Mitchell. What are you going to say? But Robert Kennedy, the third, he read Bo Levi like a book on the one particular pass and read the mail, took it to the house, and all of a sudden, everything got flipped on its ear. All of a sudden, the momentum, you could feel the momentum swing like immediately, even though Hamilton was still leading. And this game was far from over, but all of a sudden, that was the spark. That's what it took for Montreal to snap out of what was going on in the first half. And okay, we're in this. It's not over. It's definitely not over. People talk about how in the CFL, no lead is safe. It's so true. And you've got to have that mindset as hokey and as cliche as it can be at certain times. You really do have to have that mindset. It's not over. It's not over truly until it's over. And even then, it's not always over. That's what this league is, man. That's what this game is all about. And that spark really set it off. And DA and company, they just got it together and just went back to work. And it was beautiful.
Yeah. Denny, by the way, does give us an update for Tice, a head injury. So let's hope.
I mean, he was already wearing the Guardian cap too. So I
know. As soon as I saw Denny making that point there, I was like, what? But again, it could be anything from a neck up. Who knows? That's the thing. Who knows? But thanks for the update, Denny. Greatly appreciated. Now, also too, that helped the full comeback at they really got the Alouettes back square with the Tiger Cats. Was an insane catch by Tyson Philpott. Insane catch.
Without question, but hold on, before we talk about that, the play before that is what I want to talk about, because this was absolutely hilarious. Tyler Sneed gets him to first and goal. He makes a catch and he levels Jamal Peters, who is not a small man by any stretch. And we have fun at the expense of Tyler Sneed in the sense that he's a little guy, but he threw his weight around. He dusted Jamal Peters. I mean, is this real life? Are you kidding me? What? Like I was laughing earlier about the interview that he did with Britt Dorp, because she's like 5'0", and finally, it must be cool for Tyler to have an interview with someone that he's taller than. But Tyler Sneed just did that. He just dusted Jamal Peters, like just literally threw his weight around, knocked him to the ground. Like, oh, okay. Like, again, are we in the Matrix? What's going on here? I mean, if that wasn't a microcosm of what this game was about at times, I don't know what is. It was it was really something to see. But now, yes, the very next play, Tyson Philpott with arguably, and I know it's extremely early in this CFL season, the catch of the year. I mean, we thought the Tyler Snead touchdown catch was absolutely phenomenal. Whew. Tyson's like, hold my beer, because that was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
And again, just kept that momentum going for Montreal and just really truly made this a game again. I mean, wow. I mean, Tyler Snead did some pretty outstanding things throughout the entire evening, but that catch by Tyson Philpott was just, it's who else at Hamilton Stadium of all places to make a phenomenal game-changing catch than number 6, Tyson Philpott.
Yeah. And it's funny. This is, as far as I can remember, if this is, Denny was saying it too in our last comment, is that this easily could be game 1, catch of the year, a nominee right away. Right away, I think of the infamous Canada Day game where the Owls played Saskatchewan in overtime and the infamous SJ Green catch on the 2-point convert. So now let me ask you this question. And I don't know what it is. And based on from what I'm saying, let's see if you agree. And chat, I'm curious to know too. So please chime in. On that catch by Tyson, shades, because the last one wasn't a touchdown. But in the Grey Cup, as we remember, Austin Mack was getting mugged by the Winnipeg defender. This should have been a DPI. Should it not have? And on top of that, again, no flag was thrown, if you agree with me.
Again, I go back to the Kenny Lawler, Lorenzo Burns. Was it catchable or not? This was definitely catchable, as Tyson clearly evidenced. But yeah, I think in a normal circumstance, that would 100% be DPI. But because the defender, same thing, didn't even turn around. I mean, it was a straight up mugging, as you said. But Tyson Philpott, he just finds a way. He finds a way, especially in that stadium. I can't overemphasize just there's something about Tyson Philpott playing at Hamilton Stadium, formerly known as Tim Hortons Field. He had the game-winning catch in the Grey Cup in 2023 at that stadium. Tonight, it wasn't a game-winning catch, but it helped keep that momentum going for Montreal, and it gave them the opportunity to get to overtime and eventually get the win. So, I mean, in some respects, again, not really a game-winning catch per se, but I mean, it was still a catch that I guarantee you people are going to be talking about it all weekend. I mean, whatever happens between Calgary and Winnipeg or Ottawa, Edmonton, anything that happens is going to be put up right up against that catch. And it's like, okay, can you top that? Mm-hmm. And again, good luck. That's what I have to say to those teams is if you're looking to outdo Tyson Philpott or Tyler Snead or any of the Montreal Alouettes with some of their absolutely highlight reel worthy moments, good luck.
I see Tyson calling his brother Jalen in Calgary and saying, top that.
But if I'm Jalen, I'm going, oh, man. Oh.
As we said, it really was a two halves. Because in that second half, the Alouettes there were 2 penalties total in that second half. One by the Owls as an 8-yard penalty, but a major one in the fourth quarter on a face mask on a punt where the Owls were receiving the punt. A face mask that cost them 15 yards. So they were able to clean things up in that second half. Tackles were still a little suspect on some of the stuff. I think one of the funnier comments from Brandon, overall, Tyson Richards specifically looked like he was trying to tackle a greased pig over and over again. And
listen, a couple of these guys may have put on weight over the off season. Come on, let's be civil here, okay? Like,
yeah.
putting the ham in Hamilton.
Ty was close on a couple of ones too. I mean, he's still a beast, as we know, when it comes to special teams. But But again, it set up the Owls game tying field goal. On that last drive, I'm trying to think of the last drive that the Owls had. Second to last drive that the Owls had in the Grey Cup, where the ball was fumbled at the goal line. The ball, and it kind of reminds me of what they did in the Grey Cup too in Hamilton. The ballsy plays that they did on third down with short yardage, very ballsy. Because at that last one where it was like 3rd and 1.5.
Yeah,
I thought they were going to go for the field goal, but then they turned the camera and Jose Matos Diaz was on the sideline. So
yeah, and again, that's having faith in Dustin Crum. I mean, he's a big boy. He's tall. He can definitely get those. He can get that extra yard. He just has to fall forward, and more or less that's what he did, and it was enough. But I do not like DA. I love his that warrior mentality of his, and obviously you knew he was he put the team on his back, and he was going to will this team into overtime. But when I see him lining up to take a 3rd and 1 snap, I'm like, oh God, no. What if something happens?
Well, we can go back to the first quarter where we saw him potentially, quote unquote, tweak something. And I don't know if anybody else noticed that. But
he kind of,
whatever it was, he shook it off and played the rest of the game.
Yeah, I think just the turf, for whatever reason, just seemed, maybe it was just a little too slick. I don't know, because he looked like he stumbled a touch, right. Just enough that I can see why.
Tyson was slipping quite a bit during the game itself. You had a couple of other wide receivers slipping on that turf tonight. So you're not wrong if that was the case.
That's just from what I saw of that. And yes, obviously, no matter what, especially since Davis left that the one preseason game he played in, he left it early as a result of a potential knee issue. So understandably, everybody is going to be concerned about that. When you see something like that, your mind immediately races back to that first preseason game, and you're like, oh gosh, and you're just obviously concerned, I guess would be the best way to put it. But I mean, then he comes back and he does the things that he did tonight, and you're like, oh, okay, maybe it's theater of the mind. Maybe it was just a little thing, and it was just I'm sure he doesn't even think. I'm sure he doesn't even remember it happening to him, kind of thing. Like, you'd have to probably go back and show it to him. So,
right.
Obviously, it didn't affect him. He didn't feel any. I don't think he was seeing ghosts in any sense as far as his play and any potential injuries he may have had. He just played his game. He just did the things that DA does, and it was enough. That's the thing. It wasn't pretty. This game was not pretty by any stretch if you're an Alouettes fan. I mean, it was there's a lot of moments that were just like, what the hell? What are we doing here? But at the end, all you had to do was get to overtime. And that's exactly what the Alouettes did. That last drive, marched down the field, a couple of 3rd and 1s, converted, and just doing the thing, taking the time off the clock, letting Jose Matos Diaz tie up the game. And as they say, in overtime, anything can happen. And let's not forget, Tim, this is the new overtime that's being played. No ties. Had this game gone if each team had been able to play the 2 mini games, we would have been going to a shootout, essentially. Best way to describe it. But didn't come to pass because Hamilton fumbled on their possession.
Yep.
Montreal recovered. And who was it? Robert Kennedy forced the fumble. Kavion Ento recovered. And at that point, part of me was just like, okay, just kick the field goal and get the hell out of there. But no, let's showcase Shamari Lawrence a little bit more. He knocked off a few beautiful runs, and as you love to see it, but at the same time, I think they were truly trying for a touchdown, because there's no clock in overtime, so it's not other than the 20-second clock. But
yeah,
at the same time, you're not trying to run down the clock or anything like that. The real clock in overtime, just kick it and win. But I guess they were just trying to really truly get as close as humanly possible for Jose Matos to kick that ultimately game-winning field goal. And wow, just wow. What a way to kick off the 2026 CFL season, ladies and gentlemen. That is just It doesn't get much better than that.
No, let's get some accolades here, Cliff, and we'll talk a little bit more, obviously. Lawrence had 8 attempts on 63 yards. The Alouettes only had a grand total of 14 attempts today. Most of it was on DA, obviously, but it's well worth it. As I said, he threw for over 300 yards. Receiving wise, leading receiver was Tyler, the need for Sneed, 9 receptions, 163 yards, a touchdown. Tyson Philpott had 7 receptions for 76 yards and a touchdown. Hollis had a great catch too, just a wide open shot from DA, a 42-yarder. He had 3 catches for 46 yards. Again, talking about Speaker, he had 22. Dubois had 15, and Jareth Stearns had his first Owls catch for 7 yards. Did I leave anybody out? No, I did not. Again, it's DA 200 yards at halftime. Didn't look good to come out the second half, but you know what? Was very consistent. Again, does become 12-0 as a starter in the regular season in his career.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
What would you say was before we talk about the defense, talk about some other stuff, all the superlatives I love talking about that can mean a thing or two, but is there anything else that stood out to you before we talk about the defense and the other stuff?
Honestly, I think it was just a simple matter of the Alouettes just being so damn entertaining. I think that's really what it came down to. I mean, in a perfect world, I think Alouettes Nation they wanted a mud hole stomping. They wanted to see Hamilton get their teeth kicked in. They wanted to see Bo Levi absolutely embarrassed, and that didn't happen tonight. Hamilton truly gave them a test. They truly made Montreal work for everything, and I think that's how it's got to be. You got to work for everything in this league. You got to show that you are who you say you are, and I think that's what Montreal did tonight more than anything else. They showed they were resilient. They showed that there was no quit. There was no, you're down by 14. You're not giving up. There's always a chance. There's always an opportunity. You just got to find it. And sometimes you need your starting quarterback to put the team on his back and will them to eventual victory. And that's what happened tonight. Sometimes you need your defense to, find just a little crack in the armor. And that's exactly what happened tonight. And it led to the win. I mean, it was a true team effort. I definitely think overall, all 3 facets of the football, Montreal did, there's a lot that needs to be improved upon. I'm not, it was not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, so don't get it twisted, but there's a lot to work on. But what they did do very well. And I think coming home, playing Toronto, you got to keep that momentum going. They know now that they can hang. The preseason. Obviously, you don't take those games to heart, but if this is the Alouettes team we're going to get this year, a team that just finds a way to win, that doesn't stop no matter what, that just keeps coming up with something new and innovative and are just trying to find some way to get the W by any means necessary, I'll take that all day long. I'll take a team that's ready to fight and ready to show what they're able to do, and give them their flowers. They did it. I mean, again, especially in Hamilton, which again, a lot. If you notice, almost all the experts, the CFL.ca experts, picked Hamilton to win this game, with the exception of Jamie Nye, our guy out in Saskatchewan. Jamie Nye picked Montreal to win. He's looking like a damn genius right about now.
DA with his 14-point, leading them back from a 14-point deficit, I think is his second biggest in his career. The one being 18 from last year versus Toronto, if I remember correctly. Let's talk about the defense, and we'll talk about the superlatives here. What were your thoughts on the D, buddy? Because they had their issues in itself, but all in all, the defense did do a hell of a lot better job in the second half. I just really was impressed with what they were able to do. So again, something must have been said about them also.
Well, what I didn't like was they couldn't get to Bo Levi Mitchell, and credit to the O-line in Hamilton. They definitely did a hell of a job keeping the defensive line for Montreal in check, because you could tell that they were trying. There's a couple of moments where they were getting very close to Bo Levi, and they couldn't tackle him. He wasn't sacked. I mean, he was able to escape or dump off to a receiver or
once,
doing whatever it took.
Sacked once by Bev.
Oh, that's right. Boy.
Well, no, I was no. To be fair, no, dude. To be fair, when I saw the play, considering where he was tackled by Bev, I thought that they could easily have given, it a forward or no gain or whatever. But I had just checked the official stats. Yeah, they gave Bev a sack.
Okay, so yeah, and listen, I'm the first person to say you can't forget about the Bev. Never.
There you go.
He played a fantastic game. He really did. He was on one. Wesley Sutton with a couple of beautiful pass breakups. Just he too, and again, his assignment tonight was Kenny Lawler, and he kept him honest. I mean, yeah, Kenny Lawler had some phenomenal catches. He definitely proved why he's essentially the $1 million man, not Ted DiBiase. But he was outstanding tonight, and Wesley had a tough task in keeping him in check. And for the most part, Wesley did a fantastic job.
Great job. So, great job. So
he really did. Robert Kennedy, listen, besides the pick six, besides the forced fumble in overtime, I mean, he too was also throwing his weight around and making things look impressive. So. I said there's definitely a lot to like. It just felt like it took that first half for them to get. It was like an old time car just getting engine warmed up. Like that's what it felt like. It was just okay. Once this gets going, it's going to be great. And sure enough, the second half it was a much improved defense. They definitely looked a lot better. Played Hamilton a lot tougher, and of course, did those things. They took advantage of the miscues, and ultimately, they were a big part of why Montreal won this game tonight.
Let's talk about something too. Obviously, it's a brand new thing. Let's talk about how our new safeties did. Nate Boschman, I think, had a pretty solid game to start. I think he did some better stuff in the second half than he did in the first. But I think all in all, it's funny. Hamlin wasn't. I don't think they mentioned Hamlin's name once. Obviously, he wasn't playing at safety. But
no,
thoughts on how Hamlin and Sutherland did playing at the safety position for the very first time tonight.
Well, it was Nate Boschman taking like the lion's share of the snaps at safety, but Hamlin and Sutherland definitely were on specials, and they did I think a pretty phenomenal job. Also, too, I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about Josh Archibald on specials. He had a couple of really nice special team tackles. Like he put the wood to these guys, and like again, make them work for it, and that's really what it came down to. Josh Archibald and he was actually getting a lot of love on the broadcast as well, the TSN broadcast. So yeah, definitely love that. Definitely, and again, well deserved. I mean, he is again improved by leaps and bounds. Like I felt in camp this year, he really, really looked like he belonged. Like, he is definitely someone who could start on that defensive line and not look out of place. I mean, if anything, like I was waiting for Lawal Ugalak to, do something special tonight, but I won't say it was a ghost necessarily, but unfortunately the only time I heard his name was for a penalty call, which was
in the first half. I know.
But again, I guess everybody's going to have an off game now and again, and I guess tonight was Lawal's, but yeah, Josh Archibald definitely, man, he's something special. We love us some Josh Archibald on this Alouettes team.
Mm-hmm. It was very lopsided at one point when it came to some of the superlatives. Owls ended up getting Cliff at 21 total first downs to Hamilton's 27. And as everybody has heard me talk about in years, especially last year, since I've been really concentrating on this when it comes to the games, the stats after the game, is talking about second down conversion rate. Hamilton Cliff tonight, despite losing, converted 60.9% of their second downs. And it showed. It really showed. And it's one of the things that the Owls need to work on. The Owls themselves, on average from what they did last year, they were 10 to 21 for just at 47.6%. And talking about total yards, total net yards of offense, Cliff, Alouettes had 401, 339 for Hamilton. Average gain for the Alouettes tonight, Cliff, on 53 offensive plays was 7.6 yards per play. Obviously, we talked about the penalties, and I know Menno has made a comment here. We'll talk about here in a couple of seconds. And yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of what needs to get better, and it's again, it's game one, and top of that, last stat, by the way, since I got the official stats from the CFL, the game lasted 3 hours. 3 hours, which is about on par from what it was, I guess, last year. But then again, penalties, high scoring game, went into overtime. It's game one. It's game one. We'll see if it really makes a difference when it comes to the new clock. Now, here's something. And yes, Menno, let's talk about that bench penalty. One of the infamous penalties that really gave Hamilton a chance at scoring that touchdown late in the second quarter.
Oh yeah.
Everybody needs to remember that there has been a change, obviously, with now there are teams on opposite sidelines, and there is now a box. Think of the box. If you're watching an NFL game as an example, usually you see a white box that all the players and coaches and personnel have to stay in. Not really the same what they do in the CFL, but there is an imaginary box. Mm-hmm. That's what the Owls got dinged for tonight. They even said that we're going to be watching this closely. And unfortunately for the Alouettes, they got caught at the wrong time. So it depends on who the penalty was on. Obviously, they call it a bench penalty, so we don't know.
Actually, we do. It was Noel Thorpe. They even showed it too. He walked in front of the referee. You cannot do that. You cannot obstruct referee's line of sight.
Okay,
and
I didn't
Noel
see
Thorpe, that. Again, it was probably inadvertent, but it's still a penalty. It's still you walk in front of the referee, and right away, ref threw the flag. Like, sorry, I didn't see it at first. It's like, okay, bench violation. Like, oh cripes. Okay, what could this possibly be? And then they showed the replay. I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, like I got nothing but love for Noel Thorpe, but like this is. And again, I'm gonna chalk it up to it's a new year. It's a new rule change. It's a rule change that obviously is a needed one. And okay, it's like everybody gets one. Okay. That was your one time. One time you can do that. Yeah, you get the penalty and just don't do it again. And you better not do it again because
nobody on the team. That's the team's one.
Well, here's the thing. As this game goes on, as this season trudges on, this is going to happen again and again and again. And other coaches are going to get at fault, or even players too. Like I'm sure even if a player were to do that, same idea. You just avoid the referee at all costs, ladies and gentlemen. That's really that's going to be the mindset right now with the coaching staff or whoever's on the sidelines. Just do not get in front of the referee. If you get in front of his line of sight, and it's a just penalty. They were absolutely in the right to call that, and it's just like, because yes, it does move the ball, moves the chains down, and yes, ultimately did lead to a Hamilton touchdown. And you're just like, that was stupid, just absolutely stupid. That was completely unnecessary. But all right, it's game one of many, and you know what? It's just okay. This is a teachable moment, I guess, and I'm sure Jason Moss is going to pull Coach Thorpe aside and be like, "Bro, you can't be doing that, bro."
No, I can just see the text now. It's just gonna be a simple text like, "Bruh."
Bruh. BRUH.
Just like, bruh.
Or on the plane ride back to Montreal, he's just gonna be like side eye. Just no.
He's gonna get the seat near the lavatory in the back of the airplane.
Yeah, and if one of those big boys has to do a number 2, then that's on you, pal.
God. Oh my God. Oh yeah. Okay. By the way, if you missed any part of the stream tonight, you can go watch it on archive over on Facebook, X, or on YouTube. It will also be available in audio version over at www.alouettesflightdeck.ca shortly.
Or as always,
let's talk about this. Yes, like that too, buddy. Al's going. Let's talk about this meticulous. So the Owls reach reach overtime for the 20th time in franchise history. That includes playoffs. And, it's funny. We go into overtime, and I thought too, it's like, are we actually going to get to that point where we have to do the new rules when it comes to what has been set forth when it comes to you go through too many games and then you do 2-point converts until there's a winner.
Right.
And luckily, as you mentioned early in the show, that wasn't necessary. By a great defensive play and then a winning kick by Maltese Diaz.
And the body language of Bo Levi Mitchell was just, if you're an Alouettes fan, you were definitely loving every second of that, because like literally the wind was just taken right out of his sails. It's just like the body language, just because he knew like you cannot fumble the ball in overtime. I mean, especially too, you got to put points on the board. And again, Kenny Lawler made an absolutely fantastic catch to move the chains. I think it was the first or second pass that Bo Levi threw in overtime. Again, the momentum was right there for Hamilton, especially playing in front of their hometown crowd. First game, everything. People were hyping up the connection of Bo Levi and Kenny Lawler and this young running back for Hamilton, Roundtree, who had a pretty decent game, all things considered. He was given opportunities as well, but man, just fumbling the ball in overtime is just such a no-no. And I was actually thinking back, I think it was back in 2021 in Hamilton as well. The Alouettes and Tiger Cats played an overtime game, and that's how they won, was because of they recovered a fumble in overtime, and it was a game-winning field goal. Like that was shades of that game again.
Great comment. Great comment.
Wow.
By Chris. Oh my God.
Well done.
That's great.
Well done.
Don't Levi Mitchell.
Levi
I love
Mitchell.
it. That's a beaut. That's a beaut. So
listen, that's like he had a heck of a game going into overtime. I mean, the pick six notwithstanding, but Bo Levi, you can tell Hamilton too. They're inspired. They want to showcase what they can do. They want to show that they belong in the conversation with Montreal as far as the top teams in the East goes. And just that play was just a backbreaker for Bo Levi, or Doe Levi.
Yeah. Any last comments? Obviously there's a lot to change, a lot to look at. It's a lot of tape to look at, and they also need to. Obviously, we need to find out what's going to happen when it comes to practice next week, because they have the next 2 days off. First practice is currently scheduled to be on Monday. And we will, I guess we could, hopefully we'll get an update part of that. And maybe there will be one for tonight's post-game scrum, if we can see that. And we'll get some more answers later on about the 3 guys that got hurt.
Hopefully nothing major. I mean, it did not look good for Cole Speaker, and it didn't look good for Justin Lawrence either. And I mean, now Travis Tice, I mean, you can't help but wonder, especially as we said, he was wearing a Guardian cap. So I mean, if it truly was a head injury that was the issue, then you're like wondering, well, what was he doing out there in the first place if that was a concern? I get that the Guardian cap is not going to save you from any sort of head injury or head or neck injury, but at the same time, you're wearing it for a reason. So it may have just been a precautionary on Travis's part to wear it, but the fact that he left the game and did not return, and if it really was a head injury as a result of that, it really makes you wonder. I mean, it still gave opportunity for other guys to step up and do their thing, but here's hoping that, especially with Cole Speaker, I mean, when he got rolled up on, it did not look good. I mean, it just, the knees don't bend that way. And yeah, God forbid something does happen and he's out for an extended period of time, because as was noted in the comments earlier, he is one of the few Alouette receivers that are over 6 feet tall. So you want to have those tall receivers that can, reach up and make plays happen. And we know Cole Speaker is an absolute playmaker. So hoping for the best. That's all you can do, is hope for the best. But man, this was still a hell of a game. People stepped up when they had to. It was exciting. It was exactly what you want out of a Canadian Football League game. It was just drama from start to finish. It was cinema. That's the best way to describe it. And this is week one. Week one. Like, what do we do for an encore? What does the CFL do for an encore? Like, that's what I'm saying. I'm really curious to see these next two games because, wow, how do you top that?
Say you're speechless.
Really,
Not
truly,
often that Cliffy D is speechless.
Truly, like that was just fantastic. Like, and we get to have more of these. I mean, I don't think all 18 regular season games for the Montreal Alouettes are going to be this dramatic, exciting. That'd be amazing if it were, but if this is what you offer up in week one, like how do you come up with an encore? How do you follow that if you're the Montreal Alouettes? And at home, no less. You're the home opener is next week, and you're playing the Argos, and that's always a spirited match for the most part. But
Chad Kelly's return to personal Molson for the first time since the East Final, where he got hurt.
Yep, and first game
we'll
for the
talk
Argos.
About that more on Wednesday.
Indeed.
By the way, of note, remember before we talked about having this game kind of had a similar matchup, a similar flair to it when it came to crazy, game one, best catches of the year type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
The last time the Alouettes opened the season with an overtime game was before this year, 2010 at Saskatchewan for that Canada Day game.
So I guess the Alouettes were due for an overtime win to start the season. So it happened. That's what counts.
So for him,
but still, it's still the idea though that they played 60 minutes and did not lead, and they still won the game. Like that's wow. Just like they drew it up, right?
I think because they did the same thing. I think in the same. Did they do the same thing in the East final, the East final last year? But that was the playoffs.
It was playoffs, and it wasn't. It didn't go into overtime either. But
true.
But the game still ended same way with a Jose Matos Diaz field goal for the W. And I think the Alouettes like playing at Hamilton Stadium for any number of reasons.
It's been a while. Yeah. People remember when what was Tim Hortons Field at the time, the Owls gave the Tiger Cats their very first loss at Tim Hortons Field way back when. So
way back when, that's right.
Yeah. So stay tuned for the show on Wednesday. Obviously, we'll have a lot more to talk about when it comes to this game itself and any news that may break from that. And by the way, it's really tough too, obviously, with having a game after show releases. But if you haven't watched it already, head back and watch the latest watch or listen to the latest episode of the Alouettes Flightdeck. Cliff and I go over the CFL television broadcast contract and a few things more, but hope you guys will do watch that. But yeah, it's we'll have a lot more to talk about again, as I said, on the show on Wednesday, leading up to the home opener versus Toronto on Friday. So before we go, Cliff, any last words, my friend?
We get to do this all over again next week. How exciting is that? And as I said, how do you top this game? But you know what? Enjoy it, Alouettes Nation. I know some of you were, kind of waffling a little bit. You didn't have the faith. I could tell you didn't have the faith, and I just hope you eat just a little bit of crow as a result. I mean, how dare you? I mean, this team pretty much showed. But are you not entertained? Are you not with what you just saw tonight? Are you not entertained? So enjoy it this weekend. Enjoy the other games as best you can, because I mean, like I said, I don't think you're going to top this game. This was just a banger, as the kids say.
Wait a minute, that was your best Russell Crowe?
I could have done better, I admit, but
that's okay.
It's late, Tim. I mean, we got to work tomorrow.
I know. Yeah. So again, stay tuned for the show on Wednesday, and also, by the way, Friday home game. Stay tuned also for the next episode of Flightdeck Live. We will be there. So for the last time here tonight, the Alouettes beat the Hamilton Tiger Cats 30-27 in overtime to start the 2026 season. For Cliffy D, I'm Tim Capper. We'll talk to you soon.